because we're not making very many sales, and I'm not the kind of guy to try to lie to you and do a, what did we call that thing back in the 1980s? Fake it till you make it. Like pretend that we're so successful and so flooded with business that we probably can't even accommodate you. No, we have very few orders. We have 30 open timing slots per week. Monday through Saturday we have 8 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m. That's all Pacific time, California time. We rarely have anybody in any of those slots, frankly. We charge a little bit now. We charge $89, which I have priced video over the years. Some of the same stuff, and I know you won't believe me, but I'm trying to do some research on AI to reprove what I'm saying. Some of the same stuff that we do now would cost you right now, if you did it somewhere else, $15,000 to $82,000. Not joking. But I just don't like charging people. I don't even like charging people $89. So for our basic, what I call 8 to 20 minute interview, we charge $89, and we post for you, but we post for you later, like a week or two later, when I get a chance. We do another product where we do a 3-minute ad for you with you live on the phone, and we post that within 471 minutes and to 211 people, so 211 million people around the world, 211 million, and we charge $193.91. So it's still, I mean, that's a little under 200, and what is 200? What percent is 200 of 80,000? So it's still extremely cheap, and I buy crap on the all over the world every day, whether it's on the internet or in person, and $89 for an ad sounds pretty goddamn cheap to me, frankly. But most people can't see it, or they think that, well, if it's cheap, it can't possibly be good quality. And I guess that's fine. My heart is for people that, you may know someone like this, someone who's like a mom and pop business. They're very small. They cannot afford promotion. They know they need to promote their business to get the word out about their product or service, but they can't afford the $15,000 or the $80,000. And they don't know about me because I'm one guy trying to promote as best I can, but I can't reach everybody. So we help the small business. We help the small nonprofits. They got one in Hagerstown, Maryland. They got one in, Fresno, Sacramento, somewhere like that. I don't think it's either one of those towns, but somewhere out in the Central Valley. That's who I like to help. So, all right, kids, and you can, it's easy. You can send money to my Venmo, to my PayPal, to my Zelle. It's all really rather laid back. So, all right, love you guys. I am proud of having a record of helping other people. All these years, I've been volunteering ever since God knows when. Well, I just mentioned having been and asked the way I got through 10,000 hours of S, because that stuff was expensive, is I volunteered almost constantly and was oftentimes awarded free classes and free seminars. And when I came to KMVT television, same thing. I was there Monday through Friday, almost every day, all day long. First year I was there, I won Volunteer of the Year award because they couldn't figure out who I was or why, or even I was even human, because I just would come in every day in the morning and say what needs to be done, and I'd work all day, work a 40-hour week for free. So I've done a lot, hundreds and thousands and tens of thousands of hours of volunteering over my lifetime. Yeah, I'm proud of that. I really am proud of that. I can go to my grave being proud of that, because I've given back, I got things from the government because of my disabilities. When I ride the buses, or when I used to ride, I'll even probably now, people would say, well, if you're disabled, then you're getting part of my tax money to live. Well, I give back to the larger society as best I can. So, all right, love you guys. Talk to you soon. Oh, by the way, if I seem to be doing more videos in the next 3 or 4 weeks than usual, it's because I might lose my phones. I might have to default on my phones. I have 4 phones. They're all with Verizon. The last phone I got, Verizon literally promised me a free phone because I bought one phone for a relative of mine, and I bought 3 phones for myself. So I had already bought and pay, $50, $60 a month for each of 4 phones. And so someone on Verizon said, well, gee, Mr. Potter, for that, you get a free phone. We have a program. Well, of course, I signed up for the free phone, and now they charge me what feels like $970 a month for the one free phone. So it's just, most of the big companies I don't have a good experience with. They cheat you, they lie to you, they promise you they never lied to you afterwards. I don't know. The big companies, most big companies I could name, are just fucking liars and cheaters. And they do it because they've got a board of directors that wants not just a profit every year, but if they made 5.2% profit last year, this year they're not happy with 5.2%. They want 5.6%, which amazes me that they want more profit every year. It means they have to shrink their product, or they have to start lying more to people, or they have to hide a new service and embed it in everything as an extra charge, and then go, oh, it's always there. Capitalism, I don't know if capitalism is inherently bad, but it looks inherently bad, When a small mom and pop company starts, most of the time they're really honest. They're just trying their hearts out to get people to notice, whether it's a new restaurant or whatever it is. And then after a few years, some person, I guess they're humans, they come along and go, well, I could buy that and do this to it and make money. So they offer the people some more than fair number. Get the company, get that good mom and pop reputation. And as soon as they thoroughly own it, they start playing with it. Let's take out the most expensive product and or, ingredient, replace it with something cheaper. Instead of giving people 17 ounces, we'll give them 14 and a half. Just almost every single company does the same thing. I hardly know of any company I could mention where they consistently have given people good quality, or, God forbid, increase the quality over the years. Almost every company just goes along and tries to, every year they cheat you more, they lie to you more, charge you more for less. Almost everybody. It's probably not everybody. There's probably one little company in Mongolia that doesn't, or something, or Latvia. I don't know. Anyway, I love you guys, and I have been over backwards for all my life to try to make things right with people. I had a customer call me, and these are all people I did free shows for. I've done like 600 or 700 free shows. This guy called me and said, well, I did your interviews and nobody called me. And I tried to explain, well, the point of an interview is not to get calls. The point of an interview is brand identification, brand strategy. If you want to get calls, you have to do like a sales campaign, or a sales tunnel, or a funnel, or whatever they call that, or something. But that person didn't understand. So what I did was I did 2 or 3 shows with them in which I encouraged them to publicly complain about the fact that they didn't get any phone calls. And we broadcast all those shows. I replay them even to this day. Has he ever gotten a call? No. Is it the point of the interviews to get a call? No. If you want somebody to do something that makes your phone ring, and when I say this, most people go, yeah, I'd much rather have my phone ring than do a goddamn brand strategy. If you want your phone to ring, then hire a commission-only salesperson, or hire a group of people that you pay hourly to make sales calls. There's groups in the Philippines. One company is called Brentworks. One of the guys that works there is Justin Baldo. He will put together a team of 5 or 6 people that will call your lead list that you provide to them and try to make direct sales for you. I don't know. I don't know what else to tell you. We each only do what we can do. My understanding about companies is you do need the public to generally get to know who you are to get the word around, but not everybody has to do that. Some people have one customer in the beginning and they just live off word of mouth from one customer to another. A lot of people who provide services to the wealthy, individual billionaires and stuff, they will have a business where if that millionaire or billionaire really likes their service, then that wealthy person will become very covetous of their service. I don't want other people to have this service. I don't want other people to know how good it is, or how little he charges me, or what a good job he does. So I'm only going to tell my best friends. And the person who has the business has got all the business they can ever do. I worked for a wealthy family in Palo Alto, thousands of years ago, joking. And I was food. I would shop their food list, and I would bring it back to their house and put it away. And so the wife would give me a list, and I would go out to shop at some general grocery stores and some rather exclusive ones, like in the Stanford Shopping Center. I know she'd have me go to this one exclusive grocery store that sold green beans. This is a true story. And she would literally have me, in that store, they had a pile of green beans in the produce. And these were all, God knows what beans, grown by angels and with harps playing and all this crap. I would literally call her on the phone as per her instructions, as she would have me describe each green bean to her verbally. And then she would decide if she wanted me to purchase that particular green bean for a future family meal. Not joking. So, some wealthy people, not everyone, is completely eccentric. But working for wealthy people, while it has its rather big advantages, has some very strange disadvantages. I know that family, the husband has some computer product that he had invented or figured out, and that was where they made a big part of their money. And I worked in the house as a nanny like I said, the guy who bought the groceries. So I worked with the head maid and the wife. And so the husband was having a VP or president of a big internationally known electronics company was coming over to the house to discuss their product. And he sat me down, had me get very, very specific instructions from him. I was not to walk into a room that him and this gentleman were in. If I had to walk into that room to serve them coffee or something, I was not to look in the direction of this gentleman, certainly not to make eye contact, certainly not to speak, all that, which I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't have anyway, but, whatever. All right, kids, and I'll remind you, if you are getting more videos from me than usual the next few weeks, it's because I'm anticipating a future with, instead of 4 phones, maybe 1 only. And so I'm trying to do some of the timeless types of videos that I might do, like reminding you what my services are, or some people are now insisting that I tell various parts of my life to the public. I'm going to go through my life and try to tell my life in here. Let me do one here before I forget. I do have dementia now and at least 11 disabilities. I sat down and wrote them out. I think it came out to more than 11, but I want to under-promise and over-deliver, so to speak. So, I was born in Ohio. I was born in Lorain, Ohio, because the town we're from, Vermilion, does not have a hospital. So, born in Lorain, Ohio. My first 5 or 6 years we lived in the quote-unquote downtown of Ohio. I think for a while we lived in a big, big house, like in the upper floor of a big, big house on a street that we locally there called 2 and 6. Because it's like State Route 2 and Federal Route 6 or something. It runs along Lake Erie. And then when I was like 6 or 8 or 9 or 10, oh, and then after the big house, we lived over by the elementary school, like 1 block away. And then when I was about 10, we moved out to the country. My dad had bought, we were all very poor. My dad was poor, but he knew a banker. And my dad bought an old, at that time in Ohio, 1950s, there were these things called a detached garage. People had a little garage in the back of their property so the driveway went up to that separate garage, and they would park their car in the garage. And my dad bought an old garage off someone's property, tore it down, and used that wood to make a little house that we lived in. So the house was very small. It had concrete floors. We did not have enough wood left for walls, so we put up sheets. We had an outhouse. We had kerosene lamps for lighting. We had no running water, like that. And then within a few years, my dad slowly improved the house, put on a better roof. He put in what was called a chemical toilet at first, and then later he put in I guess you call it a septic tank, but it comes with had to have a big straw, big straw thing out in the backyard. He had to dig troughs, 3 long troughs that had gravel and straw, and gravel and straw like lasagna, and a county health official had to come out and inspect it. And I remember the first time he came out, he didn't like what he saw. Anyway, so then we could put in a in-house toilet and flush it into that piece of the property. And eventually, of course, my dad dug a well and hooked up water, and we had a kitchen with a stove and a sink and all that, walls in the house. So that was the first, say, 10 years of my life at least, pretty much. We lived out in the township at that point, Vermillion Township. We lived on Barnes Road, we did not have a house address. We were on Rural Route 2 or Rural Route 1, whatever they called it. Nobody had a house address out there. Anyway, I'm tired. My chest is hurting. I'll talk to you guys later, but this is like a backup video that we can replay now and then. That for those of you who say, I don't know anything about him, I'm not going to buy anything from anybody I don't know about. Yeah, whatever. All right, later, kids.